Hello again. One of the things which I cannot help noticing is that whenever attention is drawn to a black person who has achieved something out of the ordinary, that person is almost invariably light-skinned and likely to have a white parent. We don't need to look far for examples of this phenomenon. A new play opens in March about an 18th century composer called Chevalier de Saint-Georges, who used to share a flat with Mozart. He was black and something of an all-rounder, brilliant violinist, composer, fencer and soldier. John Adams, the future American president, described him as the most accomplished man in Europe. His father had been a white plantation owner in Guadeloupe, and his mother was a black slave. More recently, we have author Malcolm Gladwell, who has written a string of best-selling books on curious aspects of popular science. He's partly Jamaican and partly white American. And of course, let's not forget Barack Obama, whose mother was, of course, white. Would he have got where he did without having a white parent? It's an interesting point. I was prompted to think along these lines while looking at the most recent A-level examination results on the British government website. I give a link to them in the description to this video. The percentages of those getting 3 A levels at grade A is fascinating. As one might expect, those of Chinese ancestry do the best. 42% get 3 A's. 26% of white students taking A levels get 3 A's, but only 16.5% of black students manage this. The really interesting bit comes when we look at students who have one black parent and one white. The percentage in this group who get 3 A's is between 18.5 and 20%. In other words, higher than black students, but lower than white ones. Traditionally, we account for the fact that students with one black and one white parent fall midway academically in this way by assuming that cultural effects must come into play. There may be something in this, although I doubt it's the whole story. Going round London museums at weekends and during the school holidays, it's very noticeable that there are many white children taken there by their parents, but very seldom will you see black children. When you do, it's usually a child of dual heritage, that is to say, one with a white parent. This is a curious thing, and I've no idea why it should be so. You'll see the same thing if you visit Kew Gardens in West London. Loads of white parents take their kids there during the school holidays, but black children are as rarely seen as hen's teeth. Those who you do see are usually of mixed ancestry. As I say, this seems to be a general trend. The lighter the skin of the black person, the more likely to succeed academically and to get on in life. The reverse also tends to be true. It is very difficult to separate out cultural influences from any possible genetic factors here. The fact that teenagers with one white parent and one black tend to do better than those who are entirely black, but not as well as those who are completely white in examinations, could certainly be explained neatly if we assume that this is simply inherited intelligence at work. But then again, it might just as easily be that having a white parent makes them less susceptible to things like black youth culture, which is often a little contemptuous of traditional education. I recommend viewers to have a look at a few black people who were famous for what they achieved in the past and see if they think this is a general principle at work. Even the famous Mary Seacole was more white than she was black, and indeed she never thought of herself as black at all.